This is 8 Minutes of Awesome. I'm Jennifer Lipsky. Joining me today is Molly Gordon. And Molly has always used creativity and humor as a way of expression and exploration and a way to bring joy to each and every day. She has dedicated her own life to also helping others embrace their limitless brilliance in their own remarkable ways. Hi, Molly.
Hey, Jennifer, nice to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to share this with me. And Molly, I would love for you to talk about when you tap into this creativity, what kind of potential does that bring up from within a person?
Well, the word that comes to me immediately is limitless, although I don't really think of it as from within particularly anymore. Uh, I think of it more as each of us is an expression of a limitless potential that's under, around, through, and beyond us. And that for me, the best way to access creativity then uh, is to drop attachment to my potential and just be curious about what the potential is. What's possible in this moment? What shows up when I'm not narrowing the aperture by thinking too hard, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. And I love that. And I love that point. I mean, it is so important for us to, certainly go within, but we get so much inspiration in the world around us, and we really need to engage with that. So that is a really excellent point. And it also brings to mind, because someone may say, well, I've heard that, creativity and doing things can help me to explore the world better or explore myself better or be more productive at work or any number of things. But someone then may say, but I'm not a creative person. So
Right.
what, right? So what would you say to someone who says, well, I can't do that. I'm not creative. What would you say?
Impossible. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
I think what can get in the way of creativity is thinking that creativity should look a certain way. So one of the most important insights I ever had about creativity is that creativity is following the obvious. What's obvious to you out of your life experiences, your perceptions, your associations, your interests is going to be different. It's going to look really creative to me because it's different from me. You mentioned before we got started today, the vest I made for my Volkswagen Beetle. That was not something I tried to be creative about. It was obvious to me. I was a knitter. I had all this knit fabric around, and I had this cool car. And one day in July, I thought, why don't I make my car a vest? It didn't come out of an effort to be creative. It was really out of something very obvious and the next step for me. And I think if we try to be creative, we foreclose those insights and possibilities that show up in front of us.
And I love that example, and I love so much that you shared that personal and super fun story. Because I can imagine that as you were tooling down the road in your vested Beetle, that other people saw it and were perhaps inspired thusly to maybe do something different, but something that let them express themselves in a
Mhm.
way that they otherwise would not have thought of had they not seen that. So that's an excellent example of what we were speaking to about, looking around and really leaning into that which we see. It's part of our world.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful. And I love the name of your company also. So tell us a bit about that. Tell us the name and how it came to be.
Well, my company name is Shaboom, Life Could Be a Dream. I was incorporating my business in the year 2000, and my attorney said, please don't name it Molly Gordon Inc. Um, and I thought, oh, hell. I'm coming up with the right name. I just thought, God, how do you come up with the right name for a company? So I kind of put it aside and went about my business. And one day I'm working in the garden, and the refrain of Shaboom, the old song, Shaboom, Shaboom, came to me. And I thought, what a cool company name Shaboom would be. And then the refrain, life could be a dream. And I thought, wow, I've been into Jungian psychology, the creativity, as a coach, helping people create potential. And I just thought life could be a dream really scanned with my evolving perception of what reality is, what life is, how we engage with life. So that was the name of the company.
Oh, and I love that. And also, yeah, to come up with a name for your company is so important. And to take that time to really let it come to you versus really forcing a name is a great suggestion. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are just starting their own companies and trying to come up with that inspiration as well. So thank you so much. I'm sure that will be of value.
Yep, go
Uh,
gardening.
yeah, that's right. And what else do you do in your day? Because certainly, with the work that you do, keeping people, motivated, inspired, and looking within and looking without, it does take a lot of energy and effort. So how do you unplug to stay fresh and focused?
Well, that's gotten simpler and simpler every year, to now where the honest answer is nothing. I was talking with a client this morning about how we can make being our best a project. And I used to have Project Molly, and there was an endless number of things I might do to be my best self. And when I dropped Project Molly, things started to fall into place. I have days when I'm more productive and days when I'm less productive. I have days when I've eaten a lot of junk food and I'm in brain fog and oh well. But in the olden days when I had Project Molly, I would have had to create a project around brain fog and food. And now I don't. It's just part of the flow. And I recognize that something's out of whack. And if I don't make a project out of it, things get back into balance really rather quickly. So I just say yes to life until it comes to me to say no thank you. And I show up with whatever I've got. And I realize this may sound simplistic to people, but it's actually what has evolved for me. I just don't work on it a lot anymore. I just don't work on it because I think we each have reserves of resilience and creativity and insight and common sense, which I think is vastly underrated, that are available to us if we're not trying to work it. So,
Yeah, yeah. And you know what I'm hearing in that is, letting go of that control,
mhm,
releasing that, and just allowing yourself to be
mhm,
the remarkable person that you are, whether it is a super energy day or a
mhm,
slow day, it's all okay.
right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I would like to know today if you have a message for other people to hear. What would that message be?
Well, I'm going to build off of what we were just saying. If you've been making yourself a project, to consider that maybe you don't have to do that. That if you drop being your own project and just be available for yourself and for your life, that the things that go well for us, how would I say it? Well, that what goes well for us comes from that bigger source of creative energy that we were talking about in the very beginning of the call. And we can count on that being there, independent of our ups and downs. And we don't have to make ourselves a project in order to have that creative source and resource be there for us. So that would be just say no to being a project.
It's a brilliant message, a great one to remember every single day. Absolutely. And please, Molly, how would people get in contact with you if they'd like to learn more about the work you do?
My website is shaboominc.com. That's ShabooMinc.com.
Okay, beautiful. Molly Gordon, thank you so much for sharing this time with me on 8 Minutes of Awesome.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been an honor.
Thank you.